Hey everyone, Jay here at Lived and Learned DIY. So it's been a bit since I posted a video, but today we've got a new project on the slate. Let's take a look at it. It's my old log splitter that Dad and I built 16 years ago. It's going to get some upgrades on today's video, so we'll get right into that. So for those of you that don't remember this from one of my previous videos or know much about it, let me give you a little quick walkthrough. So this is a homemade log splitter my dad and I built, and it's worked great for years. Anyway, we had this I-beam, we had the cylinder at the farm. I wound up buying these control valve spools. We built the log lift for it. I made a few things, a few modifications, and what we got here is our engine. Now, this is a Briggs & Stratton 19 horsepower, and yes, I know that that's overkill, but let me explain. So, this 19 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine has a story behind it. We purchased our property where we live now 14 years ago, and when we purchased that, there was a Yard King or Yardman lawnmower in the garage. The frame was broken in half. Whoever had it, they had really done a number on it. So anyway, I put a little gas in, put a fresh battery in, the thing starts right up and it runs perfectly. So I cabbaged the engine off that, and you see it now. Now, I have no idea how many hours are on this engine. I have no clue. I've had the valves adjusted. I've put a new carburetor. I've done a lot of stuff to it. Essentially, we're having some issues, and the engine does have a lot of hours on it. And so I guess you guys can see where I'm going to. But first of all, I want to show you what got this whole thing started. Okay, so let me show you exactly what the problem is. First, I want to start out with the new parts and show you what they're supposed to look like, and then I'll show you the problem. Right here, folks, these are how you couple your hydraulic pump to your engine. These are commonly called Lovejoy couplings, which I found out is actually a brand name, not an actual piece. But anyway, you know, it's like saying you can give me a Coke. So anyway, we got the part that goes on the pump, the rubber isolator, and the part that goes on the engine. That's good. These are brand new pieces. Cost me about 60 bucks for all this at the local industrial supply house. Okay, so here are my used parts, and you can see the wear right here, and then you can see that this is supposed to look like this. Sorry, 6 fingers. This one has 3. It's broken them off, and what's happening is, as I found out, is my pump right here was not in alignment with the engine shaft, so it was sitting a little offset, which is causing the damage and causing these to wear out prematurely. This is what couples your hydraulic pump, it goes here, to the engine. And I decided to pull my engine and cut a circle out of my mounting plate right here so that I could mount this directly to the engine. But since it was like 16 years ago when I started building this thing, well, it's actually not been that long. It's been 14 years ago. When I started building this thing, I forgot that the engine, the current engine, this used engine from a Yardman lawnmower, did not have mounting holes for this. These holes here. Because it was made for a lawnmower. It didn't need to have that. So Briggs & Stratton built those engines specifically for Yardman. And no mounting holes, so therefore I mounted it to the plate right here. Then I slid all that up on there, tightened it all down. It seemed like it worked, and it worked for years, but this is the second set of these I've worn out. So I'm looking at it, I take the engine off, I see there's no holes, and I'm like, oh crap. So I'm either going to have to build a new plate, which I can do, put it all on, try to line it up, get all that, and still use my engine, everything. I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do it that way. So let me show you what we got going on. Okay, so this may be controversial to some of you guys, but got to keep in mind, I'm paying for all this stuff out of my pocket, and I also just had a curiosity about this. So I'm going to show you what we're doing to alleviate this problem with the engine and the alignment. There it is. Yes, it is a Harbor Freight Predator engine. I've always been curious about these. Now I'm going to try it. So let's get into the details on this. We'll open it up and get started on other things. So here we go. What we've got here is our Harbor Freight Predator engine, 459 cubic centimeters. It is rated at 15.8 horsepower. So that's right in range with what I want, because right now I'm running a 16 gallon per minute pump. I want to upgrade to a 28 gallon per minute pump so my cycle times are cut down. Also, I'm thinking about doing something else, but we'll get to that later. So anyway, we're going to do a quick unboxing of this. I'll show you kind of how it works. Of course, you guys have probably done repowers on units before. But anyway, just kind of give you a little rundown of what comes in the box here with Harbor Freight Tools Predator engines. All right, folks, so here we are. We got our Harbor Freight engine. We're going to cut this thing open and see what we got in here. Hopefully an engine, but here we go. Damage. Unboxing, unbagging, whatever. So let's get all this stuff out of the way. We can get a good shot of this. All right, so there it is. We've got our 15.8 horsepower engine. It tells you to put gas and add stabilizer and add engine oil. Got all those precautions there. We got a kind of a starting procedure guide here attached to the crank. And of course we have an electric start, which there should be, yeah, there's paperwork here telling about how to hook up the electric start. And then I think I saw a tool pack out down there. Right there is a toolkit. 1-inch shaft. It is a horizontal shaft as opposed to the vertical shaft engine that I've been using, which I think is going to be better. So anyway, we're going to get this thing set up and get it running here, hopefully in this video. So there you go, guys. 15.8 horsepower Predator engine from Harbor Freight. So what I did forget to tell you guys about is the reason I purchased this. Now, my channel's not very big, you guys know that. I'm not sponsored by anyone. Harbor Freight absolutely is not sponsoring me. I purchased this with my own money. I looked into Honda, I looked into Briggs & Stratton, I looked into several engines. And listen, I've got several implements or power tools that have Honda engines. Love them. They are expensive. They're expensive for a reason, I understand that. But I wanted to try this. I've just wanted to try one of the Predator engines, and let me show you. This thing here, on their Black Friday deal, had been marked down from $499 to $449, which is, you know, 50 bucks off, and that's a good deal. But then, if you're an Inside Track member, which I'm sure most of you guys know that, this engine was $379 for a 15.8 horsepower engine, which is insanely cheap. And yeah, I may pay the price for it, but I'm going to show that. I'm going to document that on my channel. So if you guys have ever been interested in it, we're going to do a longevity test on this thing, and we're going to put it on this log splitter after we break it in, of course. Then we're going to put this thing to work, and you're going to get to see exactly how well it works or how well it doesn't work. So anyway, that's the reasoning behind it, guys. We're going to get this thing mounted up, and we'll get it running. We're going to see what she can do. So I'm curious. It's supposed to work, but let's check it out. Make sure the bolt holes line up. Oh yeah. Yep. So I'll have to get me some metric bolts to work on that with, because I don't have any metric bolts here. Not many, anyway. So let's check this out. This is our 1-inch side. The L100 1-inch, 1-inch hole. L100 is the size of these. So let's just do a quick fitment here. Keyway wants to slide back in. Oh yeah, that's going to work. Yep, very good. I don't want to go too far in there, so I don't want to have to knock that back off with a hammer. So, yep, everything's good. Okay, so much to my surprise, these are actually, at least these threads here, here, and here, and here, which is the ones I'll have to use, they're actually 3/8. I can't believe it. That's a 3/8 thread. And here's a 5/16. That's too small. It goes straight in and out. As you can see, it just, so it's a 3/8 drive, or 3/8 thread. So that's surprising. It's good though. So there we go for that. Okay folks, so I'm going to give you a little pro tip here. So I want to make a mounting bracket to mount my engine directly to. I want to drill the holes in the right place. So let me show you a little pro tip, as it were, that I use. This is super thin, non-corrugated cardboard. You can get it at any hobby place, Hobby Lobby's where I get it. It's local. You can get it a lot of different places. And this is not the only method, folks. It's not the only method. You can measure, you can mark and scribe, you can do all that stuff. You can also use paper, obviously. But this is my favorite method, so I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, folks, so here's what I do. Make sure this is clean, which I've already done. I put my piece of paper up here. I take a clamp to hold it in place. Try to square it up as much as possible. And then I'll take a hammer.
And gently tap it where the holes are at.
And here you go. It's hard to see with the lighting, but here's the front hole. There's the other one. Here's a slotted groove right there. So now you can take that and lay it on your metal. Center punch each one of these, and then transfer it, and drill your holes. So there you go. So I'm getting ready to put the Predator engine on my log splitter, and I decided, well, you got to have the old one out of the way first. So I'm going to take care of that right now. And we're going to remove the old engine, all of the keyed start, all this stuff here, solenoid, keyed start, electric fuel pump, all that, and the tank, because we don't need any of that. Our unit now is self-contained. Okay, here we go. Oh. Oh, wow. Well, that was kind of heavy, but we're good to go now. So, as you can see, once I modify this, I think I want to leave my engine up here where it's more accessible. So I think I'm going to mount it here, but I'm going to have to put a new plate on top here and weld it on. But so I got a little confession for you folks. I want to see if you guys have ever done this. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys have ever done this. Do you ever overthink a project? I know I do. And let me explain what's going on here. So overthinking a project. Let me show you what I overthought on this process. So this is my old engine mount. This mounted the engine from the floor of the trailer up to the bottom of the engine because it's a vertical shaft. You can see it back there, vertical shaft engine. The pump sits down in this area right here, and it all worked fine for years. So what does Jay do? I decided that, well, I'll just use that again for the new horizontal shaft engine. So I cut all this out, I get rid of that. I start looking for plate to replate this, put the engine on. I thought, well, you know, it's sitting kind of high for a high horizontal engine, so I'll cut this off, I'll re-weld this, I'll weld this, I'll weld this, tap that, do that. And then it dawned on me. Hey dummy, it's a horizontal shaft engine. Just mount it to the trailer. So, guess what? We have an engine now that is mounted directly to the trailer floor for the log splitter. I was getting ready to put an hour or so worth of work and $30 worth of metal into keeping what I had when there was absolutely no point in having it. So there you go. I was overthinking a project. Let me know if you guys do that. So hey everyone, we're back on the log splitter project. I did a few things off camera that aren't really that entertaining. Kind of boring actually to watch. So what we've done here, let me show you, is I've actually mounted the motor loosely. Have isolators down there. I still got to put the nuts on the bolts. I've mocked up the pump on to the adapter. I've put that on there and put all my gears, this coupler on, and the shaft was too long. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut the shaft off right here and at that white mark, and then I'm going to re-chamfer the edges so that if I do have to take stuff on and off there, it's going to be much easier on me. So I know that footage wasn't great. I apologize. I started cutting it with a bandsaw and I ran through the blade in no time. That crank on that engine is so hard. So I took a cutoff wheel and finished it off. So anyway. Well folks, I'm getting a little bit rusty at this YouTube thing. At least using the GoPro camera. I thought I was recording that whole part where I was doing the chamfering on the back of the crank where I had to cut it and all that. Nope. So now, as you can see, I've got it all put together. And I didn't record it. Thought I did. Anyway, there you go, folks. So all that is attached. The engine is now tight to the trailer itself. Got little rubber isolators there. Keep down the vibration. I put oil in the engine. And now all I like is some non-ethanol gas, which I am actually out of here at the shop. So, gonna have to wait till another time, possibly tomorrow morning. Yeah, and so I've got a larger battery now, a little bit higher capacity battery. I'm gonna have to make me a new box for it, and I'm actually gonna put a battery cutoff switch on that to keep from running it down. And also I bought an hour meter, which I need to mount that. So still got a few things to do before we fire this dude off. So anyway, I'm gonna call it quits for tonight. We'll catch you guys later. Well, hey, I'm back on my log splitter project this morning, and I've been tidying things up. I cleaned off all the old fasteners and things I took off and just got rid of tools. So I'll show you what we got here. This is my new Predator engine. I've got all the pump, adapter, Lovejoy couplings, everything's mounted up. I found some gas at home last night. That is non-ethanol gas, and so I'm gonna fill this thing up. We're gonna crank it off. It's got oil in it, but I am gonna check it one more time just to make sure. Gonna crank it off, see what we got. So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna steal this from the old unit. This is my starter solenoid from the old unit and my power. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this apart and steal the wire off of it. Also too, one thing that the owner's manual for the new engine recommends, and I highly recommend as well, is using a ground from the engine block to the trailer, and then grounding the battery obviously to the trailer itself. That way you've got a good ground, because that's one thing I've learned that's universally true, is that you can never have enough grounds on anything, especially modern vehicles where we have so many computer systems that rely on proper grounding. So this is not that complicated, but still I want to make it right. So that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to go ahead and put my positive wire lead on here goes to the battery, and then I'm going to make another pigtail, if you will, that goes from the engine block down to the trailer itself. So let's get that going. When you're hooking up anything to do with the battery or power, you always want to make sure it's tight. You never want to leave a loose connection for a lot of reasons. One, it doesn't make good contact. That's the obvious one. But also, if there's a little air gap in here, you'll tend to get corrosion more because it's jumping an arc through there. So you don't want to do that as well. I'm going to remount my battery, so I'm going to have to change out this little battery tray. I started out with a lawnmower battery on here, but now I've moved up to a bigger battery. So what I'm going to have to do is take this. You can see it down in here. This crude mounted battery tray I made. So I'm gonna have to take that down, take that off, sorry. And I'm gonna just loosely put the battery in for right now. I am getting a battery cover, one of the battery boxes, to keep it protected from the weather. So that should be here any day, but right now I'm just excited. I wanna get the log splitter fired off and see if everything works. So a little bit of a tip here, folks. You've probably seen these things at the auto parts store on the counter. Usually they're up around the counter at the cash register. It's a battery terminal cleaner. It's got wire brushes in here. Don't ever stick your fingers in there because you'll never get them out. It's like a Chinese finger trap, but much more painful. Then this pops off and you can clean the inside of the battery. This side cleans the battery post. This side cleans the battery terminal. So we're going to do this because this battery's actually been outside most of its life, so it's a little bit corroded. Now, take that, turn it, and you can see how clean that terminal is now, how shiny it is. We're going to leave that alone now. Pop the cap off, and then you go inside of this. There you go. Good connections. Well, the battery's mounted. I still got to keep it in place, but it's mounted to the engine. I've got our ground wires ran and everything's ready to go. So we are going to do the proper starting procedure here, which is turn the fuel on, turn the choke on, and give it a little bit of gas. And let's see what happens. Contact. Well, there you have it, folks. She's running. That's awesome. Well, I made it back to the house, and we're going to fire this thing off, let it warm up for a minute, and then we're going to split some firewood and see what this thing does. Well, as you folks can tell, we got the new engine mounted, and it was a success. There it is. Everything's going. Split a few.